As an atheist, I don't believe there's a God telling us what's good and what's bad. Does that mean I have no morals? Not at all. I'll explain. First, we need to understand where morals come from. As social animals, we have a sense of empathy. Social animals such as monkeys, elephants, and dogs have this sense of empathy. It's one of the characteristics of a social animal. There are multiple instances of these social animals displaying altruistic behavior, and they don't have a concept of a god. Social animals rely on each other for the survival of the species. If morals were strictly religious, social animals wouldn't survive. Animals that display empathy are more altruistic than animals without it. This applies to humans as well. People who lack empathy are antisocial, meaning they have no regard for the well-being of others. If they do good, it's for their own self-interests. From that, we can conclude our morals come from empathy. How do we know murder is wrong? If a God isn't there to tell us it's wrong, we imagine how it would feel if someone murdered us or someone close to us. We wouldn't like it, so we can see it as wrong. This can apply to anything. Do you want someone to rape you, steal from you, take advantage of you, deny you human rights, or harm you? If you're a masochist, would you want that to happen to someone you love? Most of us will say no, so it's easy to imagine what it would be like for the victim of those acts, so we can see those as immoral. On the flip side, imagine how you would feel if someone gave you money, listened to you, offered to help you, or offered to you a place to stay if you're homeless. Most of us would like that, so doing those for others would be moral. A lot of things you do doesn't affect others. This is where secular morality conflicts religious morality. This includes masturbation, homosexuality, wearing certain clothes, and premarital sex, among other things. These things don't affect anyone except those who do these and those who choose to be offended. Unlike the examples of the immoral acts, you choose if these affect you, so they are amoral. Merely being offended doesn't make something immoral. It would have to actually affect you. Lying breaks trust, rape is a violation of another person, murder takes away everything someone could have ever been. You thinking something is gross or you not liking something has no basis on morality. There are also times where it's easy to put yourself in both parties' shoes. Imagine one man's dog got out, chased another man's dog, and the other man who was afraid the dog was going to attack it, so he shot that dog. This isn't so clear. On one side, a man lost his dog because it got out, which happens a lot, and the dog may just wanted to play with the other dog. On the other side, the other man thought the dog was going to injure or kill his dog, and he didn't want to risk it. Who's the bad guy? The man who lost his dog, or the man who saved his? Sometimes we can't easily tell if something is moral or not. That is why it's often necessary to get both sides of the story. Some things are clearly moral, and some things are clearly immoral. That's why we have juries and don't rely on the judgment of a single person to determine if someone is a criminal or not. On the topic of crime, it is also important to understand that lawfulness and morality are not synonymous. While they often overlap, they sometimes contradict each other. In 1930s Germany, hiding Jews was illegal, but since most of us would appreciate if someone helped us when we were in need, it would be moral. Getting someone else's slaves to freedom when slavery was legal was another example of an illegal but moral act. The reverse is also true. In 1930s Germany, you were required to report any Jews you find, but doing so would put them in danger, so while doing so would be legal, it would be immoral. Morality is subjective, but that doesn't mean it's non-existent. Should a woman be forced to marry her rapist? Should anyone be sentenced to death for working on a certain day? Should it be acceptable to take people from other countries and make them your slaves for life? If you answer no to any of these questions, you accept morality as subjective. You can argue that it was a different time, or specifically for the Hebrews at the time, but that still means morality is subjective. Those examples I listed are in the Bible. If morality were objective and based on the Bible, working on the Sabbath would always be wrong. Even if you're a doctor, wearing mixed fabrics would always be wrong, even if you have nothing to wear. Sitting where a woman on her period sat would always be wrong, even if she sat everywhere. If there are exceptions, morality is subjective. Subjective morality is based on the effect an act has on others. Objective morality is based on lawfulness regardless of how it affects others. Imagine you're in 1930s Germany again, and you know what Jews are hiding. Officers come to your door and ask you where the Jews are. If you believe in subjective morality, you'd lie and say you don't know where they are. And that will save lives, and it'll be moral. But if you believe in objective morality, you would tell them where they are, because lying is wrong. It wouldn't matter what the reason is. Lying is always going to be wrong regardless of the situation. While certain things like rape, child molestation, and child abuse are never okay, the fact that a lot of things are more gray than black and white means morality is subjective. Think of any situation where killing would be okay. If you can think of just one, you agree morality is subjective. Finally, morality exists with or without a God, so atheists are just as capable of being good. If you believe there is a God, imagine there was undeniable proof that no God exists or have ever existed. Would that mean rape, murder, and child abuse are suddenly okay? Of course not. They weren't okay then, they wouldn't be okay now. We don't need a sentient cosmic being with magical powers to know harming and taking advantage of others is wrong, and being kind and charitable are good. We only need the ability to put ourselves in other people's shoes. To summarize, as an atheist, I get my morals from empathy and imagining I'm in someone else's shoes. Morality isn't black and white, and is in fact subjective, depending on the situation, and the existence of God is irrelevant to morality.